Well, let's talk about your policies, your vision for this city. Here are some of the things you've proposed: free buses, rent-stabilized housing, a $30 minimum wage, creation of city-owned grocery stores. We went on your website and realized there's a policy proposal that says your plan, and I'm going to quote it for folks, is to shift the tax burden from overtaxed homeowners in the outer boroughs to more expensive homes in richer and whiter neighborhoods.
And we can fully commit to a new era of social housing, ending subsidies for luxury housing development and using our wealth to build beautiful, high-quality social housing projects.
No offense, but it sounds like some commie gobbledygook.
The Democrat Party is no longer the Democrat Party of your parents. They have been completely taken over by the radical leftist socialist progressives. Case in point, AOC, Jasmine Crockett, and now Zohran Mamdani, who just won the Democrat primary for New York City mayor. But of course, this is all actually a huge gift to the Republicans because it's just going to end up exposing the Democrats for how radical they have become, as will be pointed out here by Scott Jennings. But before we get to these clips, don't forget to like and comment on this video so we can get through the algorithms. Here we go.
Zohran Mamdani, the 33-year-old self-proclaimed Democratic Socialist success, this week shaking up Democratic politics, not just in New York City. I'm bringing our panel back, Maria Cardona, Scott Jennings. Maria, I want to start with you because, look, we've heard from even folks like House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, for example, holding off on any endorsement just yet, essentially saying he wants to know more. But what are your thoughts on Democrats, some Democrats' hesitation with Mamdani? Do you have any concerns?
I don't have any concerns, and here's why. Because I think what Democrats need to take from this massive earthquake of what just happened in our politics is the tactics and the approach that Mamdani used. He focused on the number one issue for New Yorkers. And frankly, it's the number one issue for people across this country, going back to our last discussion, which is affordability. The cost of living for people in New York has gotten impossible. And what Mamdani did was he focused on that like a laser. And he talked about how he is going to help bring down costs. And so Democrats need to take the tactics that he used. He's young, he's dynamic, he is blunt, he went everywhere, he talked to everyone. Frankly, he kind of took a page from the Trump playbook, right? He didn't back down from any kind of discussion. He went on every show. He talked about every single difficult question that was posed to him. And he talked about how what he wanted at the end of the day was to make life affordable for people in New York. So Democrats can take those tactics, focus on their own politics, which won't be the same issues as Mamdani necessarily, especially if you live in a swing district, but use those tactics, talk to your voters, be open and be authentic. That is clearly the key message here.
And Scott, on that point, I mean, even folks like Tucker Carlson and Marjorie Taylor Greene have emphasized they don't agree with Mamdani here, but they appreciated him talking about the economy and the way he connected with voters. And my question, I guess, for you is, you heard at the top of the segment, Mamdani told NBC he doesn't think there should be billionaires. Despite any authenticity, do you think that kind of messaging hurts Democrats nationally as you strategize on the Republican side? Democrats, by the way, who are still, in many cases, trying to pick up the pieces after 2024.
Yeah, if I were Maria, I'd want to talk about tactics, too, because to talk about this guy's record and his ideas would absolutely sink the Democratic Party. I mean, on the one hand, he says, I don't think there should be billionaires. And then 10 seconds later, he says, but I want to work with them to make sure there's, equality across the city. Working with them is a euphemism for taxing them into oblivion. That's number one. Number two, he's also said he wants to tax people based on their race, which is one of the most radical things I've ever heard. Number three, he says he wants to defund the New York Police Department. Number four, I think he wants to empty the jails of violent criminals. If you want to destroy New York City, this is the person you would elect. Interestingly, in the post-election primary voting analysis, it was these rich white liberals that supported Mamdani. The working class supported other people, but it was these, rich white liberals in New York City that supported this guy. Of course, they're the only ones that can afford to leave when he destroys the city. So I think as long as the Democrats are committed to this sort of radical socialism, hateful radical socialism that's designed to divide people and destroy families and destroy communities and destroy New York City, You know, if I don't live in New York, I live in Kentucky. If they want to destroy their city, that's fine with me. Nationally, for the Democrats, it's a huge disaster.
And Maria,
But see,
just
that
your response,
proves-
yeah.
Yeah, Scott's answer just now proves just how nervous Republicans are about Democrats taking the tactics that Mamdani used and then focusing
I'm
on
not
the
nervous.
number one
I live in Prospect,
which is
Kentucky. I'll be fine.
Which is affordability, and using those tactics, Omar, to make Republicans pay for the massive, huge, gross bill that they are about to pass that screws working class voters and puts all of that money into the pockets of billionaires. If Democrats across the country, no matter where you run, no matter what district you are in, if you take that message about how Republicans are choosing wealth over your health, and they do it on social media, on podcasts, on YouTube channels, on CNN, on the radio, everywhere, in town halls, if they walk their districts the way Mamdani walked Manhattan, and they focus on that message, they are going to win. And Republicans should be nervous.
I got to leave it there.
Nobody's going to be able to walk Manhattan after he defunds the New York City Police Department, Maria. I wouldn't advise walking Manhattan after he gets rid of the police force.
Just to jump in,
No,
Mamdani, just to
I
jump
wanna
in,
do
hold on.
that.
Hold on. Mamdani advocated for defunding NYPD in 2020. He's since said his goal is reform, not defunding.
Exactly.
And then also just
you guys are doing that
more,
again. It's the old Harris playbook.
Just one more thing. Point of order. He just said he didn't want to tax white people specifically, just higher income neighborhoods that do happen to be majority white.
He literally
Scott,
wrote it in his statement, Omar. He literally wrote it down.
So all this leftist socialist garbage is a continual gift to the Republicans because this message is only going to fly in the blue states. All right. And I want you to think about this. Mamdani is promising to fix all of New York's problems through even more New York policy. All right. Higher taxes, less police, etc. Okay. It's New York on steroids. And who's been running New York for the past, 30 years? It's been the Democrats. They've been running it into the ground. And Mamdani wants to double, triple, quadruple down on all of that with socialism. First, of course, is the $30 an hour minimum wage. What do you think that is going to do to small business owners, which supposedly are the backbone of America, right? And the Democrats, of course, have been abandoning them in droves, so that's going away. Then, of course, you have the government-run grocery stores. Do you really want your grocery store to be run just like the DMV? Do you want that quality of service? Yeah, I don't think so. That's going to go over about as well as a Led Zeppelin. Right. And then, of course, you have the increase in taxes, right? Where all of the people who are wealthy are going to flee your state, leaving you even worse off than you were before. And, of course, no police, defunding the police, or as he switched to now, right? Reform, police reform. And I love how Scott Jennings points out that, you're changing now to the Kamala Harris playbook, right? Because remember, up until she was the candidate for the Democrats, she was a complete and rabid leftist, right? Up for all of the radical ideas like defunding police, etc. And now Mamdani's doing the same thing. Oh, I swear, I'm not that crazy. I'm totally reasonable and down to earth, okay? But of course, what we're trying to focus on here is the tactics. And don't get me wrong, I think Mamdani has run a great campaign. He had a huge social media presence. He was out there giving all kinds of interviews, and there's a reason why he went from zero to actually the winner in the campaign, because he had all of the energy, because, to be honest, that's where all the energy is right now among these young socialists of the Democrat Party. But it's not going to fly in middle America, where people want to have businesses, have good jobs, and have safety, because the leftist Democrats are against all of that. And when you talk about taxing people extra simply for the crime of being white, that, of course, is when you're going to lose a vast majority of your normal Americans. Because guess what? We don't like racism in this country. And when you base your tax policy on it, that's when people are going to turn their backs on you. So all of this stuff from the Democrats, all of this messaging, all of these horrible platforms, all of these terrible policies, please, Democrats, stay with it. Make it to the forefront. Make this your party platform, because basically it already is, because Republicans will be winning elections from now until you come out of this madness, come out of this funk that is socialism has put upon your head. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and say hi to your mom for me. Do you like t-shirts? Of course you do. And now you can support the channel by buying an Angry Teacher t-shirt designed by me, Angry Teacher. So if you like America, if you like freedom, if you like liberty, then go ahead and click the link in the description, where all designs, of course, are 100% mother approved. So enjoy yourself and find something you like today.